Hello, this is Mary Miller. I'm going to do a short video today. So I think today I'm going to go back to self-care because a lot of people are dealing with that right now. And when you're doing self-care, it's really important to be doing that as an entrepreneur or a business owner because if you don't, then it can lead to burnout. So we want to interrupt that before it even happens. So one of the things that I like to do, or I've checked in with people, is like, when are they going to bed? If they're going to bed too late, why is that happening? And a lot of times what'll happen is people are drinking caffeine too late at night, or they're eating way too late at night. So making sure you get a good night's rest is really important. I know for myself that if I drink caffeine, I actually don't sleep as well. I'm very sensitive to caffeine. The other thing that's really useful is to get the nourishment your body needs. So, as an example, for myself, if I don't ingest enough protein the day before, I really, really feel it the next day. And I also have to have a decent amount of healthy fats. Um, Now, depending on your physiology, certain healthy fats will work well for you. Coconut oil works really well for my physiology, but for some people's physiology, it just clogs their arteries. So just be careful about what you do consume with regards to healthy fats. Another thing is that I like to do is meditation. So I find that to be very grounding, um, especially if I had a conversation where I got upset. And you may have a different practice. It's just something that I like to do. If you don't have a meditation that you really like to do and you want to start practicing meditation, something you can do is think of a word that really inspires you and then just meditate on that word, or you can just meditate on your breathing in and then your breathing out. I normally do something that's transformational in nature, whether it's stuff from Sanaya Roman or the spiritual community that I participate in. But whatever works for you, that's like the best thing to do. Something else that I'll do is I'll do some healing facilitation on myself. So there's some things that I do that are pretty targeted, and sometimes that's what's needed. Some of you may just go to a chiropractor, or you might go get a deep tissue massage or something to help relax your body and make you feel better. Another tip in terms of self-care is making that time to do things that you love to do, where you get to just relax, be yourself, and be at ease. So some of the things that I like to do is I love to meditate and I love watching YouTube videos. Sometimes it's Star Wars content. I'm a Star Wars nerd and I admit it. Sometimes it's watching somebody really brilliant share how they went from zero to the success that they had. And it's not always sunshine and rainbows. So that's what that makes me relaxed. And sometimes just going on a walk. And then the other tip that I would put into place is setting boundaries. So one of the things that I have noticed is like I can't say yes to everybody. And I would love to be on lots of phone calls with various friends or acquaintances, but there's only so much time in my day. And I also need some of that downtime because I'm half extrovert and half introvert. So I kind of schedule my weekends so I don't get too many phone calls all at the same time. Uh, Meaning like I don't like to have 5 or 6 phone calls on a Saturday. But three is probably okay. And I might set them for 30 minutes, or if it's somebody that I talk to on a regular basis, we might talk for 40 to 50 minutes. And then if somebody is sometimes is someone I sometimes talk to, we'll have a spontaneous call. So, but it's like really creating what works for you in your life is what makes the difference. So I would recommend setting those boundaries. And then just letting people know. Like I have one friend who used to love doing spontaneous calls all the time, and connecting with her was just hit or miss. So I've had to tell her like, hey, I'm starting to get a lot busier. And what would really support me for right now is if we have regular calls, it would really help if we could schedule 30-minute calls so that I make sure that I connect with you, and then I'm not missing your calls. So, because I want to also value that relationship too. So people will often kind of meet you halfway. Sometimes they won't. And on those rare occasions, you'll run into somebody who won't. But for the most part, people are willing to meet you halfway and be like, okay, let's try this or let's do this. Um, and then sometimes if I'm in a conversation, we'll look at we might coach each other because I know a lot of coaches and or people who have coached. And what we'll do is when we're having a conversation, if we're friends, we'll say, okay, I'm gonna pause here, and right now what I'm gonna do is have I need some coaching right now. And then once they're done coaching me, then we'll just go back to saying something like, okay, well, now that coaching was awesome, amazing, and let's just go back to the regular conversation. So that way you know where you are in the conversation, without it getting kind of weird or always being a conversation about coaching, which then at some point can be really unfulfilling. So it's just, setting those little boundaries can really make a difference. So that's all I have for today. I might continue with the self-care until, another topic comes up. And if there's something that you would love to hear about, then please drop a note in the comments below. And in the meantime, if you would want to share what you do for self-care that really takes care of you as an entrepreneur or your entrepreneurial journey, also please drop that in the comment below. All right, have a great day.